I do, and I have, but we didn't really interact. I got to do. I was thinking that as well when he was cast. I was like, oh, do we have any scenes? We'll have to at some point, but we have three, I believe. But they're all involved with other characters, million extras, things like that. It wasn't really. I think I exchanged one line with him so far. But it was great, and it's great to see him, and he looks amazing, man. The outfit they put him in, and the hair that he has is I feel like he looks the coolest on the show.
And what's his character's name?
He plays the Magistrate Hale, and he is one of the, I'm assuming, I may be talking out of line, but the first settlers coming over. So he is one of the people that is in power in the town, helps run the town.
And what is it about Salem that appealed to you, and especially since it's your first period piece?
To me, everything. I mean, it wasn't one thing. To me, it was, I guess it stands out, what would stand out the most would be being a fan of the horror genre and having a chance to look at that, which has become appealing in television now. The character of being able to see how, he's kind of like an extension of Michael from Nikita, of just being very passionate and about what he believes in and how he handles things, and but so much more raw, shows his emotions, and that was appealing as well. The cast that they were putting together, the fact that we were part of the WGN was rebranding and this fresh start. It just felt perfect. There was not one thing that didn't make me want to give this a try. And then hopefully they wanted me. It took a while, but we got it.
Do you have a go-to spell or power that you would like to have?
If this is about witches and not Comic-Con, I can answer that differently. If it was witches, I'd say I would have a broomstick any day if I could fly. That'd be phenomenal.
Where would you fly to?
Anywhere, always. I wouldn't drive anymore. I'd just fly. To Starbucks. To get a coffee.
So you described him as an American hero in the panel.
Right.
What about him specifically do you think is heroic, and what do you think is anti-heroic?
It really is. Well, the reason why he is a soldier, one of the first, at least Americans, comes back as most people are when they're coming back from war. It was a war hero. He survived. He went through a lot that we don't quite know yet, and we haven't explored yet, of being a prisoner of war for at least a year, and been tortured and all this kind of stuff. So he had been this brash, heroic young person before he took off to war, and when he was still with Mary Sibley and thought that they were going to be together forever. And when he comes back, he's definitely jaded. He's more war hardened, but as a vet. But he, it being the firstborn, essentially American, this group of characters, they're the firstborn in the new world. It feels safe to say that this would be a first American hero, literally, which is kind of exciting to play too.
So John and Mary have history.
Yes.
At the beginning of the series.
At the beginning, and there is a scene that you can see that explains that, and in as much that we could explain, that shows where they were at, that it was essentially forbidden, and that he just naturally believed he could go off in the war. They all did, because there were all these little wars, and sometimes just even skirmishes, and he thought it wouldn't even last a year, and it lasts, I think, about 4, and things change. And she certainly changes, as you'll see.
So what kind of presence is he in her life when he comes back? Because in the panel, they said that Mary does some horrifying things and everything like that. So are you...
Well, he doesn't witness it, but...
Right.
He comes back and thinks everything's going to be hunky-dory and he's going to get the love of his life back. He notices that she's now married to the person he hated most in life, who essentially abused everyone in town and abused his power. And now she's abusing it as his right-hand woman. So if he didn't have anywhere else to go, maybe he would take off. But it is his hometown. His father was one of the first settlers in Salem. He was one of the people that created helped build the town. So, and he's still in love. I mean, it is. It's the only love that he's known. and so he can't he wants to, and you can see it happen in the first episode, turn his back on on the town, and all the freaks that he has to deal with now that he just doesn't care about, and realizes that he kind of can't. Essentially by the end of the first episode, and we explore it a lot more in the second, and the fire is still there, for him, for her, and for her, for him. It's still there, and even though things have changed drastically for Mary Sibley, she still has, she still is holding on to that. It's the one thing that makes her feel normal again. Is the love
So there's
of her
a
life.
Scarlet A popping up. No.
No.
We'll just miss everything.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's. I think it has to grow. The story has to grow from there. It's a great way to start a love story on a series, for sure.
Now, you mentioned your character's father, and Seth mentioned his character's father. Did they have a history together?
Alden and Mather, I'm sure their fathers did. Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. What that entails, I don't know, but I do know. I do hope at some point it would be great to have some. I would guess it would have to be a flashback scene, but of John Alden's senior. That would be great. I'm sure we'll have Mather, Reverend Cotton's father, and they all, even growing up. John Alden Jr., myself, and Cotton knew each other. But John Alden was the athletic brat in town, whereas Cotton was kind of the weak, avid reader, and they were just polar opposites. But I don't think they were ever friends or even enemies. It's what's Cotton has turned into since John has been gone, that he now has to deal with as a reality, and now that makes them that great. While they have that love story on the side with Alden and Mary, it lends itself to that great rivalry with Cotton and John.